Alright, welcome to my results for this week, and this is Shreveport Connection, starring none other than Tommy. Okay, it says I'm your guest host, and we're on, well, I don't have any special GM. Okay, anyways, on with my show. This is your Impact results for this week, and possibly next week if I can get it in time. Since it was already done tonight, the matches that I'm going to do are not in the order they were done on the actual TV show. The arena was set up with all kinds of weapons that you've seen in old ECW days, garbage cans, stop signs, etc. Ric Flair is backstage hitting on a random woman when Matt Morgan warns him. Noting what happened to Brett Favre, Morgan asks if it's true Eric Bischoff is forcing Mr. Anderson to wrestle with a concussion this week. Flair said wrestling is a tough business and Anderson is going to have to wrestle. Morgan said with all the studies regarding concussions, this isn't right. Morgan said that back in Flair's day, we didn't know what we know now. Flair said in his day, men were men and Bischoff knows what he's doing. Okay, another match. Robbie E. beat Jay Lethal in a non-title street fight, and the arrangements that they were on a non-title street fight when Cookie sprayed tanning spray in Jay Lethal's eyes, and Robbie E delivers the RKO finisher. Okay, the stipulations to that match: if Robbie E defeated Jay Lethal, he gets a title shot at the pay-per-view. Tara and Mickey, this is where they start the actual starting the show. Tara was on this week's episode. Tara and Mickey James have a brawl in the catering area. They take the brawl outside until the other women are all out there. Angelina Love, Velvet Sky, Madison Rayne, and Sarita wind up in the building. Tara and James end up in front of the people. Ric Flair was one of the people trying to break it up, and Tara hit Flair. Then as the brawl continued, Mickey James hit Flair several times, and he does his first flop. Flair started screaming at them, but they continued to brawl. They set up James and Love and Sky versus Sarita, Tara, and Rayne in a match during the first hour show. Eric Bischoff and Flair backstage again, and Bischoff is laughing at what happened to Flair. Flair asked Bischoff where he was, and Bischoff said he was dealing with administrative work. Flair asked where Hogan is. Bischoff said Hogan is working on a major acquisition. Bischoff started yelling at Gunner and Murphy because they almost let Kurt Angle get to them last week. David Sahadi came in and asked Bischoff if he's really going to have Anderson wrestle with a concussion. I don't know who that guy was. I don't remember seeing him. Bischoff said all the key people are in agreement and that Anderson is going to wrestle. And Sahadi said how Dixie Carter has pledged to protect the health of the wrestlers, and this is a bad idea. Bischoff makes fun of how Carter isn't in charge, but I believe this was Matt Morgan instead. Because that's all I've seen who talking to Eric Bischoff. Okay, Pope does a promo with a casket at ringside. He vowed that he would take the monster Abyss and put him in the casket. Abyss then came out in the crowd and said Bischoff and Hogan told him to rid the place of the Pope. He vowed to also take out the fans and grab two fans and left with them as Pope tried to go after him. Okay, next up was EV2. They did this all kinds of different areas. In other words, the how I'm reading it again is not how it happened on TV. Okay, EV2 without RVD come out. Dreamer said how RVD didn't return any phone calls, texts, or emails all week. Funny how that always happens in wrestling angles. Dreamer said he wants to nip this in the bud before it goes any further. He said RVD was the one who told him to come to TNA. Dreamer said that the thing with Sabu last week was an accident RVD came out and said he didn't know who he could trust. Jimmer said he could trust them. And Jeff Hardy was a problem, and Eric Bischoff is setting everyone up. While this was going on, Raven started laughing. RVD asked what was so funny, and Raven said that Bischoff is just like them, an evil mastermind. RVD and Raven started arguing when Fortune came out. Flair started talking about how EV2 is falling apart. Well, Fortune is all on the same page, which they are not. Since this episode will be the last time that Matt Morgan will be with Fortune. And next week will be Doug Williams out the door, I believe. Apparently at the pay-per-view, EV2 versus Fortune, and the winning team can pick one member of the losing team to lose his job. They also said it's RVD and Raven versus Styles and Kazarian on this show. Machine Guns kept the tag titles in a three-way tag match. Triple threat rules against Inc. and Generation Me. The Guns used the Skull and Bones to pin Jesse Neal. Team 3D came out after that and said how TNA has the best tag team division in the world. Bubba again announced that they were retiring and thanked all the fans. He again challenged the Machine Guns for the title. They all agreed, and the match was set at Turning Point. And for those that don't know, Team 3D has signed a new deal with TNA. They are not actually retiring, but just as a tag team. And also, for those that don't know, congratulations to Jeff Hardy. He is a proud daddy to a baby girl. In other words, Beth delivered a little girl. They haven't placed her name yet, but as soon as I know, I'll let y'all know. Okay, on with the show. Matt Morgan came to Bischoff and told him it's not smart to have wrestlers working with a concussion. Bischoff says he thinks it's a great idea. Morgan said people with concussions should be out 3 months. Bischoff said it's safe for Anderson to wrestle and announced Anderson versus Jeff Jarrett in a chain match later tonight. Sarita and Tara and Madison Rayne defeated Angelina Love and Velvet Sky and Mickie James when Sarita pinned Sky. Okay, Morgan wanted to talk with Anderson. I did not see that he met with Anderson. Doug Williams and AJ Styles defeated RVD and Raven. Raven came out by himself. Flair laid out Raven with a belt shot during the match. After Raven was in the match, RVD came out. Didn't see it, but Raven wasn't there to tag him because he was knocked out cold by Ric Flair from grabbing AJ's title belt. Styles and Williams double-teamed RVD, and Williams pinned him. RVD was mad at Raven, and at the end, since he didn't see the belt shot, but he did see the blood. Jeff Jarrett versus Anderson never took place. Morgan came out and said he wouldn't let Anderson wrestle. Morgan said he knows Jarrett wrestled with concussions, but that they didn't know what they know now, and it's up to the new generation to look out for current stars. Jarrett acted like Morgan was kidding. Jarrett beat Morgan in a chain match with a low blow and a stroke. Morgan came back after the match and nailed Jarrett, but Fortune turned on Morgan and put a beating on him. So that's Morgan, like I said, has gone from Fortune. He's not gone for TNA. Okay, for next week's taping, there was a dark match. Madison Rayne defeated some girl named Jennifer Blake, probably a new signee. Match number 2 was Jay Lethal defeating Brad Idol, probably another TNA tryout. Explosive match. Jeremy Buck versus defeated Jesse Neal. Impact taping saw you will see Abyss versus Pope went to a no contest, or goes to a no contest. Pope challenges Abyss to a lumberjack match with his congregation, and Abyss accepted. Eric Bischoff comes out in a karate gear and beats up a referee and fires him. He says tonight it will be himself versus Mr. Anderson, and and Anderson must win to get the title shot. Backstage, EV2 and Fortune are arguing. Rhino tries to gore Styles, but misses and nails RVD instead. Match number 2, Sarita defeated Velvet Sky. Match number 3, Mickie James and Ink Inc. Mixed tag match defeated Generation Me and Tara. Jeff Jarrett comes out and cuts a heel promo on Joe and Angle. Samoa Joe then comes out and beats Double J and his security down. Match number 4, AJ Styles defeats Rhino and RVD in a three-way dance. Rhino and RVD couldn't get along during the match. Jamer comes out after the match and announces that he will take on RVD at the pay-per-view. Kazarian is up next, and he defeated Doug Williams. Fortune argued after the match until Flair broke it up. This is why I was saying earlier, I believe Doug Williams will be gone for Fortune as well. Eric Bischoff comes out to take on Mr. Anderson. Bischoff beat up Jeremy Borash and did the ring announcing himself. Matt Morgan came out instead. Morgan beats the hell out of Eric and pins him and signs the contract for the title shot against Jeff Hardy at Turning Point. And thus is your Impact results for this week and next. And like I said, same Shreveport time, same Shreveport channel. Stay tuned.